Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Um, I'm extremely sorry that I actually forgot. I was doing the barbecue and other things, and I totally forgot to sign on time yesterday for the Kid Halka online. And when I realized I was halfway through, so I could not share this story with them. So I'll share the story what we were talking about, and then you will be able to connect the dots what we were, because you guys just joined. I mean, the people online they just joined me when we were halfway done. So this was the story before the Salat al Maghrib. We shared this story. This story is many people in Saudi, the scholars and sometimes people they say this story. It is online. Many years before, it is about many centuries before. There was a guy, and he was sort of insane. He used to stay in the mental hospital, and he was not mentally fit. Um, and he used to get like day or two off weekly. So once a week he would go out. So he'll this sort of a thing even happens even today. Sometimes the mental hospital people they don't want to keep people inside the mental hospital. They let people go, and then um, like sort of yeah we can leave. Anyway, this person he wanted to see his friend who was in a jail, and he could not see his friend, but he observed a woman was crying, and he said, what happened to you?" And he said, "My son is going to be executed because he was a murderer, and maybe a murder has taken place, and he ended up to be executed. This is the what we call nowadays is capital punishment." Um, and according to the Islamic Sharia, the Islamic legislation, this will happen if the family members they don't want to take the compensation and they don't want to forgive. This will happen. The a murderer would be get killed. So that was the day that the person supposed to be executed, and mother was crying, and he said, "Don't worry, nothing gonna happen." And she said, "Oh, we already gone through we exhausted all the avenues of the legislation, lawyers, and even they appealed to the ministers, and no, this is all done." He said, "Don't worry." And she did not believe what he's talking about. Anyway, he went to the marketplace. He bought a very expensive clothing, and as well as a bag, businessman clothing and businessman bag. And he carried that, and the time came when this execution has to take place. He entered there, and people they thought that he's a big businessman, and even nowadays, sometimes big people, big shuyukh, they attend these sort of things, and sometimes they pay it off to the family members to free the person, sort of a compensation if the family members they agree. He approached a officer, and he said, "I want to see the family member, um, and I want to pay it off." They got excited. They had the meeting. Um, the sons of the murdered father, they refused initially, but then they ended up asking them um, a big amount, which was they must have assumed that this can't be paid off, because he was preaching. He said, you can have the money of your choice, and then you can build the mosques, and you can build your mansions, and then you can do some khair for your father, deceased father, and you can have an easy life. So what's wrong with that? You can. Anyway, those days, many centuries before, They asked him, okay, would you give us a 3 million? And people, they said that 3 million nowadays it would be between 40 to 50 million, which is like massive amount. And he said, yeah. And everyone excited, everyone enjoying, and um, everyone thanked Allah. Anyway, um, after after a while, they asked him, because that person was freed now, and they asked him, how are you gonna pay? And he said, oh, they asked him uh, whether you're gonna pay check or cash. He said, I have no bank account and I have no cash. I have only 50 dirham, which is sufficient for me to catch a taxi to go back to the Taif. And then they shocked and they said, are you crazy? And he said, yes. And then they took him to the prison. And after a while, because this execution was in the middle of the thing, and they contacted the authorities, and they even contacted the ministers and the royal families, and they said, this is what happened, what you want us to do now? Because this execution was in the middle of thing, and this guy, this what happened. Anyway, the leadership, they from the kingdom, they said, okay, verify the information from the hospital he's talking about. They contacted the hospital. They verified that he was insane and he was a permanent client, and he used to go only once a week outside. Of, upon verification, cross-examined, they told the authorities, yeah, this what happened. He's not in a good state of mind. What you want to do now? And they said, you know what, if that person is freed, we don't want to hang him, like, obviously it's not hanging there, it's they chop off the head. He said it's all right. The state, which is the government, Saudi government, they're gonna pay the 3 million to the descendants, and put this guy back to the hospital, mental hospital, and attach the verdict that he would not be able to come out of this hospital until the death. So he's gonna remain there. Obviously, he cared less. He went back to the hospital. That person might have a chance to repent. So this was the story, what we were talking about, and we were taking a few lessons from the boys, and I asked the boys to teach me some lesson of the story. And the boys, they taught me a few things, which I'm going to say here once again, that the ultimate power is Allah. We should not be disappointed no matter what happened in our life. And I have to say this thing out loud specifically. We should not be even thinking of suiciding or, harming ourselves. This is not correct way. Things goes wrong. If something happens if something happen, Allah has the ultimate power to fix all those things. No matter if the ground realities are not in your favor, but one day, inshallah, everything will be good. Also, people in HSC or in some academic career, or sometime if you don't stress out, don't need to stress out at all. Whatever you can do your best, just do it. It's not the end of the war. It's not an end of the life. It is just a test. Same thing, people who are pursuing the careers, sometime fluctuation happens. You might be able to secure a job, but sometimes it takes longer. Who cares? Don't see other people what they're getting. Just be determined and do your hard work, and trust in Allah. Tawakkal in Allah. Allah loves those people who has a tawakkal. We also learned through this exercise that the parents' dua, because that mother and obviously the fathers, they always pray for you, and sometimes the prayers and the du'as all the way from their hearts if you are very obedient, and try to gain and try to establish uh, good relationship and the communication with your parents. That's another key. Allah could, another one was that Allah could use any one of us. This person, so-called insane, he was able to free a person, and he done his job. So Allah could use some person. So who knows? Maybe Allah made him insane, so he could help one day that person. So it is, everything is in Allah's knowledge, and everything Allah has a grand strategy. So the boys, they taught me a few lessons out of this story. You can have maybe a few more lessons, and you can share if you want. But this is the thing that we need to understand, that in order to have a successful life here and hereafter, when we have to trust in Allah, and we won't be able to trust in Allah, and we won't be able to comprehend Allah unless we understand the Prophet Muhammad Sallam, and because he's the one who actually taught us the Quran, and he actually told us everything, what is Jannah and what is the Jahannam. So we need to learn Quran and Sunnah, and then we'll be able to trust in Allah even better. Assalamu alaikum.